Remember the courthouse scene in Batman vs. Superman? The explosion, people screaming, and Superman just standing there in the ashes? The internet never forgave him for that. They called it aura farming, posing in tragedy instead of preventing it. And the memes? They've outlived the movies. Now, flip it. Every crowd shot since James Gunn's Superman dropped tells the opposite story. People leave smiling, buzzing, hopeful. Snyder's Superman left audiences split for nearly a decade. Gunn's flipped the script. And this isn't about CGI budgets or lens flares, it's about philosophy. 4 receipts, real footage, viral memes tested on screen. We're going to line up Snyder's Superman against Gunn's and show why one turned into a meme and the other turned the emblem into hope again. Quick vote before we dive in. God-Awe or Clark Hope? Drop it in the comments, then stick with me because I'm going to prove exactly why one version worked flawlessly and why the other crashed harder than Krypton. Context in 30 seconds. After Nolan, Warner Bros. Wanted a shared universe, fast. They tapped Zack Snyder, cast Henry Cavill, perfect look, strong presence, and sprinted from Man of Steel to Justice League in 4 years. Massive pressure. Marvel had a 5-year head start. Every scene had to carry world-building weight. The character got buried under the mission. 8 years later, DC Studios hits reset. James Gunn starts with Superman, not as a billboard for crossovers, but as a story. He even said it, if a beat exists only to set up the next thing, cut it. That simple rule changes everything from page to picture. Receipt 1. Philosophy on screen. Snyder frames Kal-El as a god among men. The camera looks up. The world looks up. He descends like judgment. People reach out like he's a miracle. Intentional, powerful, but distant. Like museum glass between us and him. Gunn flips it. Clark first. A Kansas kid with powers. Kindness as the through line. He's not pretending to be human. He is. The suit isn't a mask. It's an extension. Gunn literally describes him as innately good. Someone who doesn't want to hurt a living soul. That one sentence is a character Bible. Promise. Proof. Pivot. Proof. Watch how they enter a room. Snyder's Superman drops from the sky. Dead serious. Slow. Heavy. Hush falls. Gunn walks in, says hi to the desk, checks if someone's okay. Your shoulders drop. One raises your blood pressure, the other lowers it. Pivot. This isn't about jokes. It's about identification. Are we staring at an icon from below or standing next to a coworker who has sunlight in his chest? Micro detail, camera grammar. Snyder often shoots Superman like architecture. Towering frames, negative space, isolation. Gorgeous. And remote. Gunn matches eyeline with crowds, brings the mic closer to the people, lets background voices live in the mix. You hear civilians breathe around him. Your brain registers. Safe. The loneliness factor matters. Cavill's Superman is the last Kryptonian, constantly framed as separate. That's dramatically rich and emotionally exhausting. Gunn's Superman has the Daily Planet crew, has crypto, has people. Not carrying the world alone changes how the character moves through a scene. Receipt 2. Visual language. Rewires. Feeling numbers in a flash. Gunn's Superman sits in the low 80s with critics, Man of Steel in the mid-50s, BVS in the high 20s. Cinema score? Quick pulse check. Critics have Gunn's Superman in the low 80s, Man of Steel mid-50s, BVS high 20s. Audience grades? Gunn in the A range, MOS in the A range, BVS a rare mid-B for a superhero. But that still doesn't tell you how it hits the nervous system. Color and light do. Snyder's steel blues and concrete grays sell weight, distrust, distance. Operatic, yes, but it desaturates joy. Gunn goes bright primaries, classic crest, even the trunks. Not nostalgia, messaging. Before dialogue, color answers the question, do I feel safe around this person? Sound does too. Zimmer's score is cathedral huge, designed to make you look up. Beautiful. And overwhelming. Gunn's soundscape invites you in. Crowd reactions in the mix. Lois and Clark banter threading through action. Music that lifts without swallowing. Admiration versus participation. Which one keeps families leaning forward together? The one that makes room for them. Lighting philosophy. Snyder's golden hour halos and harsh shadows isolate. Gunn uses daylight that feels like our daylight. Superman exists in our light. He's not separate from humanity, he's part of it. Pacing and editorial choices. Why scenes feel different. Here's the thing you notice on a second watch. Snyder's action lingers on impact portraits, slow motion holds, ash drifting, silhouettes framed against ruin. It's painterly, but it also keeps you in aftermath mode. Gunn's cutting pattern is anticipatory. Inserts of a cable about to snap, a balcony sway, a child's eyes tracking falling glass, then the save. The timing teaches you who he is. One edits for iconography, the other edits for empathy. Even outside action transitions signal temperature. Snyder likes austere match cuts, statue, Superman, press montages, hearings, and TV debate panels that frame him as a problem to solve. Gunn hard cuts from heroism to humanity. A rescue beat, Daily Planet bullpen chaos, a quiet smile with Lois. That editorial whiplash says yes, he's extraordinary and he's ours. Receipt 3, the aura farming test time to score the meme honestly. 3 cases, green tick when the proof holds. Test A, prevent versus pose. Claim, does he stop harm up front or stand in the aftermath? Snyder evidence, Smallville tanker. Clark dodges, the gas station detonates. Camera lingers on ruin while Superman plants center frame. The visual grammar of centerpiece, not triage. Courthouse aftermath, he's a statue in smoke. Africa incident, reactive cleanup. Gunn counter. Action is written around intervention, catching debris mid-fall, redirecting cars before impact, shielding crowds as step 1. Small saves matter. A child, a pet, a panicking bystander. They're the point, not a cutaway. Psychology. Prevention feels like protection. Reaction feels like cleanup. Audiences want protected. Verdict, the meme exaggerates, but it's mapping a real pattern in the images. Test B, the Kent's ethos claim. Parental framing predicts the hero. Snyder evidence, Jonathan's maybe about letting the bus kids drown. Martha's, you don't owe this world a thing. Loving parents, yes, but they teach fear and secrecy. Clark's instinct to help becomes something to suppress. Gunn counter, the Kent house pushes outward. Pride, service, we raised a good man, go be him. Advice aligns with who Clark already is. Body language tells the truth. Snyder's Clark hunches, carries weight. Gunn's Clark stands open. Verdict, you can feel which advice creates the Superman people come to see. Test C, the courthouse math claim, power levels don't match behavior. Snyder evidence, after the bombing, Superman stands in anguish while survivors struggle in the frame. Later, we see speed feats implying triage-level reaction is possible. If you can perceive Flash, you can evacuate one person. Real issue. The scene prioritizes Superman's pain portrait over visible rescue. Verdict, checkmark. Not a power problem, a priorities problem in the writing. Microloop inside the test. Crowd orchestration. Do we see Superman pointing, waving people behind cover, calming a parent, counting heads? Gunn scripts those microbeats. 2 seconds on screen, huge difference in temperature. Receipt 4. Confrontation craft, blocking, dialogue, stakes. Superman stories live or die on how he handles conflict before punches fly. In BVS, the blocking telegraphs collision, night rain, industrial void, camera low to make Batman look tiny and Superman monolithic. Clark closes distance like a battering ram. His first line is a warning. His second is a shove. That's threat posture. Now contrast with Gunn's confrontation language. The man treats his voice like a tool. Name first, instruction second. Reassurance third. Ma'am, I'm Clark. You're safe. Keep your head down. The blocking mirrors it. Palms open, shoulders down, chin level, steps angled to show a path away from danger. Even with villains, the beats stack. Identify the threat, isolate civilians, reduce variables, last resort force. The heroism isn't just strength, it's process. Lois Lane, the barometer. How the film treats Lois tells you what it thinks Superman is. Snyder's Lois is a high-competence investigator, but often siloed into parallel tracks, while Clark wrestles with grandeur and guilt. Their intimacy flashes, then gets buried under cosmic homework. Gunn makes Lois the audience conduit, the person who can call Clark on his blind spots, deflate his anxiety, and ground the scene with a single look. When Lois is woven into the action grammar, quips in the chaos, shared micro-decisions, little frictions, Clark reads as human first, not demigod with a day job. World reaction versus community texture. Snyder paints the macro, Senate hearings, protest signs, TV pundits debating theology, striking tableaus of doubt. Gunn paints the micro, firehouse high fives, street vendor on the house, a kid handing Superman a crayon drawing. Small? Yes. But culture is made of small. When you leave the theater, you don't remember the Chiron, you remember the kid's drawing on a fridge. The breaking point. Save Martha. Lex kidnaps Martha. Clark tells Lois, convince him, or he has to die. Then the line that lives rent-free in discourse. No one stays good in this world. This is the moment many fans felt the character's moral spine snap. Watch the choices. Superman approaches like a battering ram. Pushes Batman before he communicates. Grabs, slams. Wastes seconds he says he can't spare. Put yourself in Batman's boots. An invulnerable alien assaults you and says he wants to talk to you. Do you buy it? Of course, the kryptonite comes out. The fight ends on a coincidence, a shared name, not on Superman persuading Batman through who he is. The story needed the world's greatest communicator, and it rode a bulldozer. That's why those two lines didn't feel like a bad day. They felt like character collapse. Fairness check. What Snyder gets right. The first flight sequence still gives goosebumps. Cavill's micro-expression shifting from strain to joy as he breaks the cloud deck? That's Superman. The Smallville fight sells mass and momentum like few modern superhero films. And the warehouse rescue? Peak Batman choreography. Snyder wasn't making Saturday morning Superman. He was interrogating power, gods among men, surveillance age, media narratives, fear. That is valid art. Henry Cavill didn't fail Superman. He brought presence and warmth whenever the script let him. The problem wasn't the actor, it was the mandate. Deconstruct now, rebuild later. And later never landed theatrically. What Gunn learned, reconstruction North Star's shift. Gunn cites all-star Superman values, decency as the signature power. Add Fleischer's earnestness, Burns' Clark as primary. The Reeve film's sense of welcome, not copy-paste, synthesis. In a world that isn't kind, making a film about kindness is a risk, but mercy is a flex. Restraint when humiliation is easy, that's power. Gunn puts those choices on screen. You see the decision to be gentle, and people feel it. Relationships are the heartbeat. The Daily Planet isn't skipped like an obligatory set. It's a community, co-workers, banter, a place where the god is a person. Crypto's not a gag, he's a signal. Clark has simple, uncomplicated love in his life. When a hero isn't alone, the audience doesn't feel alone either. The suit tells the truth. Snyder's suit reads as alien armor, beautiful, textured, other. It looks like it could deflect a tank shell. And also, feelings. Gunn's reads as fabric and symbol, bright crest, trunks. The design says, you can trust me. I'm here for you. Not a soldier's silhouette, a lifeguard's. The trunks debate isn't nostalgia, it's clarity. They break the form, humanize the shape, move the look from weapon to helper. Freeze any frame of Gunn's Superman helping someone. That image invites you in. Why the meme mattered. Aura farming became the fandom's shorthand for a deeper complaint. Priorities. It was never a stopwatch of saves, it was, do I feel like he's with us? The meme translated disappointment into a joke people could repeat. Jokes won the algorithm. The feeling stuck. Show me action born of empathy. Eyes scanning for the vulnerable first, hands moving to the fragile first, and I feel safe. Show me pain as portraiture, and I feel alone. Superman should make us feel less alone. Numbers with context critics. Gunn low 80s, Man of Steel mid 50s, BVS high 20s. Cinema score, a -B. Audience sentiment pops into the 90s for Gunn. Beyond scores, look at legs and sentiment drift. Week 2 drops stabilized as word of mouth framed it as feel-good Superman done right. Demo notes matter too. Families came back on weekends. Repeat business you don't get from respect it, don't love it cinema. International play adjusted to a post-2016 landscape. Weaker China boost, stronger domestic loyalty. But the affection curve was clear. People recommended it. because it made them feel better leaving than when they walked in. If you're chasing a durable franchise, that's the metric you build on. Rewatch intent and recommend propensity. Snyder's entries generated debates. Gunn's generated plans. Take my dad. Take my kid. I want to see that again. Closing the loops back to the tests. Prevent versus pose. Gunn script's intervention ticks green. The Kents. Pride and service align with Clark's instinct tick. Courthouse math. Priorities fixed on screen tick. Add the fourth receipt, confrontation craft, and you see how posture, blocking, and dialogue make a hero legible before he throws a punch. Back to the lines. No one stays good. Gunn's answer is simple, visible, repeated. Goodness isn't permanent. It's a choice you make again and again. Put that choice on screen. Make it legible. Audiences will meet you there. Numbers with context. Quick read on the scores. Critics have Gunn in the low 80s, Man of Steel in the mid-50s, BVS in the high 20s. Audience grades land Gunn and MOS in the A range, BVS down in the Bs. Sentiment pops into the 90s for Gunn. Beyond scores, look at legs and sentiment drift. Week 2 drops stabilized as word of mouth framed it as feel-good Superman done right. Demo notes matter too. Families came back on weekends. Repeat business you don't get from respect it, don't love it cinema. International play adjusted to a post-2016 landscape. Weaker China boost, stronger domestic loyalty. But the affection curve was clear. People recommended it because it made them feel better leaving than when they walked in. If you're chasing a durable franchise, that's the metric you build on. Rewatch intent and recommend propensity. Snyder's entries generated debates. Gunn's generated plans. Take my dad. Take my kid. I want to see that again. Closing the loops back to the tests. Prevent versus pose. Gunn script's intervention ticks green. The Kents. Pride and service align with Clark's instinct tick. Courthouse math. Priorities fixed on screen tick. Add the fourth receipt, confrontation craft, and you see how posture, blocking, and dialogue make a hero legible before he throws a punch. Back to the lines. No one stays good. Gunn's answer is simple, visible, repeated. Goodness isn't permanent. It's a choice you make again and again. Put that choice on screen. Make it legible. Audiences will meet you there. What we learned. If you love Snyder's mythic weight, keep it. The sonic boom, the cloud break, the warehouse ballet. That craft still slaps. But if you're rebuilding the house of DC, you start with a front door that's open. Gunn made the emblem mean welcome again. One version invites you to admire from a distance. The other invites you to be better standing next to him. One's a monument, one's a neighbor. In 2025, after years of cynicism and fractures, people wanted the neighbor. Your turn, God, awe or Clark hope, and why? I read the comments, and if you want the receipts to keep flowing, I've got 2 lanes waiting. 30 Superman 2025 Easter eggs you missed for the hunt, or Snyder's 7 best scenes that still slap for the flowers. Pick your lane. Meet me there. We're not done.